That's what they say. Hard work, hard work, I earn my pay. Hard work, do it every day. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snipes Castle, the U.S. Navy Sailors Podcast. I'm your host, Senior Chief Darryl Starks, retired, bringing you another one of our shipmates to talk about his career and what he's been up to. This shipmate of ours, I met on the USS Cape St. George, CG-71, as a fireman. I knew from there he would go on to do great things and be successful in the Navy, and he did. From the Cape, he went on tours at ACU-4, USS Laboon, and Marmac, Norfolk, Virginia, as we will talk about. One of the best shipmates someone can ask for, as he is known across the waterfront as a true shipmate responsible for the Chiefs flag behind me and the card stuck next to my picture right there. He is a reputation of our motto, Shipmates for Life. Give it up for the USS Cape St. George's pirate killer, GSMC SW Denis Burdeynyy.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Yeah. All right. Let's get a little straight here. The brand. Go to two screens. All right. How you been?
I'm good. I'm good. Really good.
Good. Good. So where are you originally from?
So, my backstory, just like a lot of the sailors in the service these days, child of immigration. My parents immigrated from Russia/Ukraine back in 1998. Ended up going to New York City, and that's where I lived a couple of years before joining the military life.
So you was in New York?
I was in the Bronx. My parents didn't want to move to Brooklyn just because there's a sense of I don't want to say negativity, but there's a sense of negativity between the old Russian communities in New York and new generation that coming in as refugees or as immigrants in general. So my dad didn't want to go to Brooklyn. He decided to go to Bronx, and I think he made a good decision, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we got a Russian immigrant coming to the United States. All right. So you came to the United States. All right. Now, what made you want to join the Navy? What sparked your interest?
So the military life wasn't really something that I was looking forward to doing. It was, I think, for a lot of people, it's one of the last reserves um, to kind of to make something out of them. That wasn't my first choice. I didn't even think I was going to be joining the military, but being part of the family that immigrated, it comes down to the financial standing, right?
Mhm.
So
Right.
with two kids, because I have a younger sister who was a year behind me or two in school, there is no way my parents could have afforded to send both of us to college, even though you could get grants and such things. Um, but I made that decision on my own. I
Mhm.
actually ended up going to recruiting station for Marine Corps, but good thing I didn't and decided to join the military and the Navy. It,
So,
it's it's funny because they had something that I really was interested in too. It had to do with the, I believe, CBR or something along those lines field, and but I don't know. It's something has changed, and I ended up going to the recruiting station for the Air Force and Navy because they were together at the same time in the same place.
mhm.
And next thing I know, I'm in the Navy.
Now, why did you choose the what made the Navy appeal to you over the Air Force?
I think at that time it was the charisma of the recruiter and just how they behaved in the office. I think that's one of the reasons. The other reason, all males in my family have been to sea, so it was kind of I guess continuation of tradition and sort of more of an interest to me, especially being born by the city that's next to the sea, not just New York, but back my hometown in Russia. So it's kind of it was the right path for me, I guess.
Okay, so shout out to that recruiter. You had some he said charisma, so you did your job.
You know what? I really, and I still remember his name because there's more to it than just him being recruited. Because I got a chance to see him twice during my career. But that story for another time, maybe. I
All
don't
right,
know.
all right, all right, all right. That's cool. Like I said, we could talk afterwards. I got something for you.
Of course.
um, so when you went to MEPS, so if you was in New York, then you went to MEPS in Brooklyn. I can't
Right.
remember what the base is called.
For Hamilton.
Fort Hamilton. You went to Fort Hamilton. So you got to the MEPS. So do you remember what jobs they offered you?
Yes, a lot of it was engineering. I know engineman, the gas turbine, both mechanical and electrical. Supply, pretty sure it was a SK, but I guess they call them RSs now.
Yeah.
Then hospital corpsman. Um, I think there was the majority of those. I really wanted to be a
Mhm.
quartermaster, but they didn't have it open at the time, which you never know. It might have been lying. I don't know. Like I said, they got to get their quota, so I understand. But yeah, those are the jobs that I remember specifically that were offered me: supply engineering and corpsman. Yeah.
So how'd you zero in on GS?
Oh, so I was looking through the list of the jobs, and once the quartermaster was not available at that time, I ended up picking job based on the how long the school is, and um, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's I just ended up picking based because the school was the longest. The school's name was the longest too at that time,
Hmm.
and and I don't believe my recruiter even knew what Gesterman Tech was, even though he was surface warfare qualified. But that's okay. I'm glad that that's kind of was available, and I've been a guest urban.
All right, that's all right. So you go to MEPS, swear in, and you went to A school. You remember
Hmm.
how was A school for you? Was it hard? Was it easy? How was it?
Um, Challenging just because I didn't know what my job was gonna be, what I was getting myself into. Going from Common Core to Mech Core to GSA school. Um, I don't want to say it was not enjoyable. It was new. It was a big step forward. Definitely, it was interesting. Not just the the curriculum itself, but also meeting new people, being outside the comfort zone for a kid who's just turned 18 years old. Right there. So that's definitely was not easy,
Hmm.
but still was there was something.
Yeah, yeah. A school. So you went to A school. So at the end of A school, basically, did y'all get like what we call a dream sheet? Say, hey, would like to go here. I would like to go here. Or were you just given, hey, he's going here?
Yeah, so I know now. I guess they don't have that anymore.
Hmm.
But yes, back then, early 2000s, yeah, we did get the dream sheets and the locations, that were available to us. Obviously, Norfolk
Hmm.
uh, is one of the possibilities. Japan, San Diego, and such. I don't remember which ones I put. I think I put Norfolk closest, just because of my family.
Of
It
course.
it made more sense.
Yeah.
18-year-old kid doesn't know any better. Didn't make the didn't see the world yet at that point. But for family reasons, I think Norfolk was one, and then the rest um, just well, whatever. And 99% of the time, whatever you put first usually is what you get.
Yeah,
So
Norfolk.
yeah, yeah, beautiful place.
So you find out you're going to your first command, the USS Cape St. George. USS Cape St. George, CG, oldest ship. Um, now, when you checked on board, you know, how'd you feel? You know, when you finally checked on board, you've been on there for about 3 months. What was your feeling? What was it like?
Um, well, the first night I got lost, ended up going to the outside, but I ended up in the wardroom. So that should tell you how the first 3 months were. Um, it was good. I think it was a new experience.
Mm-hmm.
Still same 18-year-old kid, just graduated. Um, A school, went home for a little bit, and then got to the ship with like 3 bags, and I can see engineers staring at me, and this kid bringing 3 bags on board the ship. That yeah, it was yeah, but um, I think it was great just because the new experiences, the stuff that got put through, just being put in main one. That was my first engineering assignment at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And those people may want to care of me. And um, crazy part is every one of those people they succeeded in life um, to the levels like pretty high up there. So it was a good experience. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Now, at the time, did you know that there was, as you got older, this is like going, just your experience on the Cape St. George. You can tell there was like dysfunction in the chief mess. Could you at that time because you was young and new? But could you? Did you see it?
I I,
Looking
I
back
don't
on it,
I don't think so. Not during my time that I might not seen it, but from that point
just from
on,
the engineering chiefs when we was there,
I didn't see that. I
you didn't see
think
that, right? That's
I,
good.
I didn't
That's
see
good.
that. I think a lot of the stuff was kept behind closed doors for the
Yeah.
so the junior guys. I'd like a lot of things that I learned down the road is a lot of things that happens behind closed doors is. I mean, obviously there's some good things and bad things, which is that's meant to be. But at the same time, I think there's a reason behind is to protect the junior sailors from seeing the some of the ugliness or discontent that could be happening on different levels. So that's kind of, and you don't want to bring that stuff to the junior sailors to see, because then it just creates that hostility, that animosity, and that's misunderstanding that some of the junior sailors might perceive, and that I didn't see it as far as I can tell.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's good. That's really good because you came to we was in dysfunction. Bad. It was bad, and and I'm glad you said that. So it was like shielded from y'all from that door when you get in the chief's mess. And I'm glad you answered that like that because it was like and that I don't know if you know that that's my first ship as a chief. That's my first ship as a chief on Cape
I
St.
didn't
George.
know that.
Yeah, yeah, you never know that, but yeah, that's my first ship, and it was a hell of a ride. I tell you that. It's a hell of a
Well,
ride.
whatever ride you was on was not my ride.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and that's what it was like. Is that shield right there? That shield right there that you didn't see, and I'm glad the Chiefs kept that away from y'all because it was hard. It was hard. The stuff we was going through that we should have went through, but the ship had been in disrepair for so long, hadn't been looked after,
right.
and it added undue work. to a lot of the junior guys, and I was like, oh my gosh, when are we good? And eventually, they did eventually get out of that because people transitioned off, and then more people came in, and then I was hearing it got better. It may have been you that told me it got better, or somebody else told me it got better. You know, once things settled out, and they got a new group in there because we couldn't really function together.
Yeah, so I left back in 2006, so I might have been at the either beginning or end of the discontent. But from my standpoint, while I was there, I think the Chiefs did the great job of keeping things behind the doors, fighting those battles, whether it's within the mess or themselves or whatever reasons, and keeping the junior sailors out of the loop that they don't need to be, because that's just poor look on everybody.
Yeah, that's
There's,
good.
there's,
I'm
there's,
glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. That made me feel a whole lot better because I was like, oh my gosh, I hope they don't see this, but that made me feel a whole lot better. So you was on Cape 2003 to 2006. And so when you transferred, what were you?
uh, I think I was uh, part of the oil lab. It might
Oh,
be 3 Gen.
were you second or third or second?
Oh, I was third.
Third. So
Yeah,
you transferred off to Cape St. George, and then you went to Coronado, San Diego for LCAC Sea School prop lift maintenance.
I did.
Yeah. You wanted to go to LCACs? I mean,
Uh,
everybody wanted to go to I wanted to go to LCACs.
uh, no, I think I was trying to. I just re-enlisted earlier that year. I think we might have been on deployment when I re-enlisted uh, before coming back home from deployment in 2006.
Mhm,
And I think Gray, GSC2 or GSC1 at that time, he was the
mhm.
career constant for the division. And we ended up negotiating with the detailers for orders. So I ended up doing kind of like a split tour, sort of, because I still
Oh,
had to
okay.
finish my time, because I only did 3 years on Cape,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
That's
then
right.
ended up
Notice.
and then ended up going to getting the C school and going to the LK community for a bit.
Hmm. So you went to prop lift school there. From what I've always heard, it's a really good school. You learn a lot there.
Uh, it was just got kind of lay down the foundation for the LK community, kind of from the mechanical, because there were two schools in San Diego. There's one for the prop and lift maintenance, the mechanical side, and there was also the electrical side of the house. So
Oh, okay.
there's two different schools. So I ended up going to mechanical side of the house,
Hmm.
and it laid down the foundation and basic understanding how everything operates. But majority of the job for the maintenance for the LKX, you had to learn that firsthand. Gotta get your hands dirty so to understand better.
Hmm. So from LCAC prop lift school in Coronado, San Diego, you go all the way back to ACU 4 Detachment 5 Maintenance Division in Norfolk, Virginia, from 2006 to 2009. Now not another 3 years
Yeah,
right
roughly.
there. Was that seaside? That was the seaside. Was that
Right,
seaside you was in, right? How
right.
many sea uh sea tours you went on, or deployments?
I'd
Right.
say altogether probably about 4.5.
Four?
Well, not a. Are we talking about the LK community?
Yeah, the LCAT community.
Just one full deployment on USS San Antonio.
Okay, okay, one full deployment. How was it?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, you're like a dang near a helo detachment, and really the helo detachment, you see them guys.
You're right. It's kind of like that, but the good thing about it, we kept our maintenance, our crafts in such a great shape that's what made deployment easy. I think
Mm-hmm.
because the crafts being always functional, always ready to go, doing the operations, and we maintaining them throughout the whole period of deployment. And prior to that, is what made things very, very successful during that time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's sweet right there. Being a detachment on LCACs and LCAC life. I mean, it was good. It's good when you're back in port. How many duty sections was y'all in?
When I was there, it was 12.
12. Oh my gosh.
Yes, it was great. I mean, you couldn't do any other way, but 12 duty sections. That's
You can't
for
beat that, man.
yeah
Man,
for
that's sweet.
for GSM it's unheard of.
Yeah. That's an awesome life right there. I remember one of the guys I remember there, he said he usually forgot when he had duty.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if people did that. I mean, I don't know when I have duty. Been too long.
So from ACU 4, then you actually go to shore duty
I did.
at, at Norfolk Port Ops. When you left ACU 4, what were you, remember?
I was second class.
You're second class. So you go to Norfolk Port Ops. And I spoke with a couple of people on here that actually said Port Ops is really good duty as well.
So Port Ops of Naval Station Norfolk is um it was a good tour.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Port Ops contains of two parts where you got the deck department that operates the operations, such as browse for the ships coming in and stuff like that. I was
Yeah.
working on in the engine shop, working for the security boats and such things. Um, and I was the only GSM.
Yeah, I
The
bet.
rest,
A bunch of ENs, I bet, right? Engineer,
yeah,
right?
yeah, ENs and electricians. So it was quad zero billet. Um, I was supposed to go recruiting after the ACU 4, but what happened was I didn't have my driver's license because I'm from New York City. So driver's license is not really a priority to us.
Wow, you didn't have your driver's license,
I,
and
I
you know that you're correct. You're right. I mean, you got the
yeah,
subway and everything. I got a
exactly.
few family members up there, and they didn't get their driver's license forever. I'm like, you don't know how to drive? It's like,
Y-
nah, you got the subway.
Exactly. You can get on subway or the bus. You can get from point A to point B. You can walk from one point to other point too. Might take a bit longer, but driving is not a necessity in New York City. So, and a part of recruiting, you have to have a driver's license, part of the screening at that time. And I'm
Yeah,
sure it
yeah,
is now because you got to drive, talk to people, such
yeah.
things. So that was not in my
Not in
path.
your plans, not in your
Exactly.
path. You may have dodged a bullet. You went to you went to Port
You,
Ops.
you know what? You're probably right. I mean, the, I really appreciate what recruiters do and how hard that job is, and I
Oh
probably
my
wouldn't
God.
last it. I mean, it's just it seems like for them work is nonstop, and it's
Yeah, I know. I went twice. Why? I have no clue. Well, I do know why, but I was like, oh my gosh, it was like the best option at the time. And I was like, oh my goodness.
it,
My first recruiting tour was in New York City. And I
I,
did not want to go to New York. Well, the dang detailer called me. He's like, well, you can go push boots or you can go recruiting. And he's like, and I was like, you know, I had sent him my, you got to send in the advanced
yeah,
program sheet or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And he said he didn't never got it. And then he just gave me a choice. So I was like, well, I guess I'll go recruiting. He's like, well, you're going to New York. Bye. And hung up the phone on me.
Yeah. Our detailers and yeah, they're not the best. No.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So port ops. I mean, basically shore duty again. Man, look at this, man. So you at ACU 4, you did one deployment, okay, in 2006. ACU 4, 2006 to about 2009, 3 years, 2009 to 2012. Damn, you was at Port Ops for a little while, right? Yeah, three
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
three years.
It's a
I
rotation back
mean, you
then.
did damn near 6 years ashore duty, dang near. As a GS, as a GS.
I have to say that the AC4 tour, even though it was seaside and almost felt like a show duty tour, I mean, we worked our butts off just like anybody else because maintaining the LCAX takes a lot of patience, a lot of work. Those are very touchy equipment units, so definitely it was challenging. But like I said, every command you go to, there's cons and pros, and
Yeah,
I just got lucky along the way.
yeah. You never wanted to cross over to be a LCAC engineer?
Um,
Thought about it?
I don't think I really thought about it. I was when I left, I was at E5. I actually picked up E5 right after leaving Cape.
Mm-hmm.
Not that cycle. I left in September to go to school, but that May I picked up second class, so it's great. I got a call while I was on leave from my senior chief, so that was awesome phone call.
Oh, that's sweet.
But
That's sweet.
I never thought about cross training going into the engineer. I think there's some. Um, I don't want to take away opportunity from some other people. I think that's one of the things that the LCAT community is kind of could be a good thing and bad thing for some people,
Yeah,
just because they stay there going back and forth between shoreside and seaside, and that's not. I mean, that's great for them, great, but at the same time, you're taking away opportunity from other sailors that might want to experience that might need a break or learn something different. But like I said, that's just my personal opinion. My personal opinion.
you
So
know, and about somebody else's personal opinion. Oh well, I'm gonna stay over.
exactly.
And people stay over there. I mean, there are people that do a whole career over there, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And you're right about that, but also I think the limits to your professional knowledge if you just stay in the LK
Yeah, yeah.
community because that's the only thing you know.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
you can learn all the other instructions and stuff like that, but there's more to being a GS than just LK community.
yeah,
Way
that's for
more.
sure. But yeah, I did try out for engineer school, failed out, ended up on Halliburton. Yeah, yeah, I went there. I tried out for the engineering school, and the main thing is if I had went there for shore duty first, and probably worked on their machine, worked
Yeah,
on the LCACs, got really familiar with it, you
yeah,
know, I think if I had again crossed over to be an engineer, my mind would have been better suited to handle everything that came at me because you're on a ship forever, so and you learn so much stuff on a ship. And then when you advance up the wash stations, where different things at, like if you stand in pack or EI or whatnot. But I
right.
just like bam, I went to engineering school, and shoot. But he threw a casualty on me. It took me a while to think in relation what accessory gearboxes was on, where it was at. By the time I thought about it, we're dead in the water.
It's a lot of process. There's a lot more responsibilities. Just like our senior watchstanding qualifications, being an engineer. I mean, you're the second in command. That's a lot
Yeah,
to have on
yeah.
the shoulders.
Hmm. Yeah, second in command, the craft master passes
Yep,
out, you got to take command,
exactly.
But yeah, yeah, man, I'd make it. Transfer to the Halliburton, you know. So from Norfolk Port Ops, you go to GSC school.
I so this is what happened. I was on my way home, and I was driving, and I'm getting a call from a GS detailer. Can't remember his name, who it was, but I don't think that matters right now. I get a call, and he's like, "Hey, we got orders for you to go to a ship." And I'm like, uh, "So you guys can get me sea school?" So he hands up, calls me back, and says, "I got you to sea school." So that's the only reason I was gonna go and stay in the service if I got something out of it. A lot of people fail to. I don't know if things have changed now, how the business is being conducted, but you have to negotiate because in the end of the day, it's your career, your path to success. So if you can't negotiate for something as simple as a C school to help you get to the next level, especially going to a platform that you've never been to, um, yeah, that's definitely was a big decision to go further down the road.
Yeah, dang, negotiating. Yeah, and that's a message out there to everybody. When you come up for either enlistment or you're
Right.
on the fence about staying in or getting out, and I'm pretty sure they negotiating pretty well now, seeing that they about to miss goal again this year. So they need to
Right.
really keep people in. So use your bargaining power to try to get something that will increase, your knowledge and make you a better sailor. Get something out of it at least.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you go to C school. How was C
Yep.
school for you?
Oh,
Everybody said it was pretty challenging.
uh, I don't think it was challenging. I think a lot of the I think it depends really on how good you're at absorbing new material,
Hmm.
how the group, the people you're in the class with too, because of the study groups and stuff like that.
Hmm.
The instructors made it really easy for us to understand stuff, uh, which is, you know, made things not as complicated as I thought it was going to be. So the only thing that really sucked is I ended up going to C school during the winter time, so it wasn't that much fun. And then, but other than that, it was good. I'm glad that I ended up getting that C school. Definitely good knowledge.
Hmm. So you go to C school. What'd you get to 4125? Anything you remember?
I don't remember which one it was, but it's for the DDG.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
So from C school, you head to your second ship, the USS Laboon. That's DDG. What DDG is that?
58,
58.
flight one.
DDG 58, flight one. The flight ones, they don't have a helo hanger, but man, they do a lot. Seem like they do more dang flight quarters than a flight two. What a helo hanger.
I
We did.
I I think no, we really didn't.
No, you didn't?
Nope. We got lucky. I think during our workups we did a lot of flight ups with the special forces, which was challenging and interesting at the same time because that's not something you see every day. But no, I I really we haven't had that many flight ups. And I'm glad that we didn't carry that helicopter wing with us. That's yeah, that would have been too much.
So you checked on Laboon. You was a second, right?
Yeah, I just got to Laboon, and I think it was May 1st, if I remember
Hmm.
correctly.
Yeah.
And I was a second class, and then I picked up first class that December or that September cycle.
Hmm. Now, what was the Laboon? It was an older DDG when you got on
Hmm.
there, right?
Yes.
So how was duty on there?
Um, it was great because I got to the ship. They just got back from deployment, so they were going to the yards.
Hmm.
So from the professional technical standpoint, going on a ship that's just came back from the yards, going from the deployment, going to the yards, it was great because you're starting basically from scratch. Like I got as a second class, and I started with the lowest engineering quality stress monitor. So you basically start building up your, or not really building up, but you're rebuilding your foundation again, especially after being working at port ops for the last 3 years or so.
Yes, yeah, from Cape St. George to LCAX to dang ACU 4, Nav Station Port Ops, GSC School. Now you back on the ship again.
It's great. I think it just everything worked out in my favor. Uh, along along the way, some things that might have been better, but better choices. But to that point, everything just worked out just fine.
Yeah, so I see on here you did a 5-year tour on that bad boy. So your ship's
Yes,
go rotation in sync now.
exactly. And I'm glad that 5 years is plenty of time to get from a histress monitor to the top. So yeah, great.
You made chief on Little Boone
No, I left
no
Laboon. Um,
April 2018. You left Laboon.
yeah, like March, April time frame because it was on deployment, so I had to catch an oiler back to States. Uh, but yeah, I left Laboon and then I picked it up that same year.
Okay, all right. And then from Laboon, you head to Marmac, what we used to call Sima, Norfolk.
Yep.
What
Oh
what
shit.
what the where'd you go? What division did you go to? Did you go to where'd you go? 31 Tango?
No,
It was a 31 Tango?
no. So that's what thought I was gonna be going to because prior to leaving Laboon, I was trying um, to get orders to go to Bahrain. Uh,
Oh, why
so
you want
there's
to go to Bahrain?
because they have the shop over there as well. But because I didn't have the names for that specific NAC, I couldn't go to Bahrain. So the only way to get that NAC was um, to go to RMC facility, which would have been either Marmac, Cermac, uh, and such. So
Hmm.
I ended up going to Marmac, and instead of going to 31 Tango or Gas Turbine Shop, I ended up going to Safety Department.
Safety.
I
Well,
did.
what'd you do in safety? I mean, you basically walking around the facility, right? That's what you're doing?
No, so Safety Department is run by a civilian department head, uh, which is can be challenging at the same time,
Yeah.
just from a military perspective.
Hmm.
But what they ended up doing, I became one of the fire safety officers. So anytime the ships go through the CNO availability or CMAP availability, we were stationed assigned to a ship that was going through those processes as a fire safety officer and
Hmm.
safety to kind of oversee those. Um,
So you do walkthroughs of the ships while they're in the yards, right?
yes, yes, it's basically is. We work with the main contractor. They have their safety reps. We work as part of the government safety.
Hmm.
And then you got the subcontractors, and they provide their safeties. And we inspect the ship on a daily basis, looking for any hazards, including which is one of the biggest things that happened in the last couple of years is the fire safety. There was three fires in the last probably 10 years. One was
That's
on the
that
sub.
one of that submarine that
Yep,
shipyard worker
exactly.
freaking
That's
set on
what's
fire.
yeah. That's what started the program in the first place. Then you had the Oscar Austin was another one.
That's the one
Uh,
when they had the rags in the intakes.
something like that. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Hmm. Man, I
And
can't believe I remember all this.
oh, I, I remember that day very very well. It happened in my duty days. So, but that's a that's a complicated story behind
When
that.
if that happens, then do you have to go there? Do you have to go there?
Yeah, there's a lot of steps to start the process, which includes standing up. Emergency Operations Center. There's a support from the local emergency services as well. Um, it's a quite a bit challenging process when anything like that happens.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
then,
man.
and then obviously everybody remembers USS Bonhomme Richard. That's another one. That's
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to get my one of the guys I served with. he was on. He is actually fighting the fire on there. That's crazy. Did you
Yeah.
did you have that one?
No, so I read reports on that, and
Hmm.
it's because just all the safety departments, we all talk to each other, so we all get the same reports and see what happens, whether it's the East Coast, West Coast, Southwest, Southeast, and we try to improve the process. Well, they were trying to improve the processes, how to better not just do the job, but in general, how to protect the ships in the yards, so stuff like that wouldn't happen in the future.
Yeah, yeah. I think they decommissioned that ship, didn't they? The
They
Boomerang
did,
ship.
yeah, they did.
Damn. I mean, it's crazy, man. It costs more. It costs more to fix it. You ready to just decommission and build another ship? I'm like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
it definitely was a shock to a lot of folks that just like I said, there's a lot of yeah.
government contracts. So you're at Marmac for from 2018 to 23. Damn, you there for a while.
Yeah, so what happened was I was scheduled to go to James E. Williams, I believe.
Hmm.
No, I think it was Normandy was supposed to go first. But I ended up going to Limdu, I believe like back to back or back and then break, then back. And so those tours got canned um, and then ended up staying just at Marmac, tried to finish up my time. And
So where'd you make chief at?
in
Once you got
Marmac,
selected at
Marmac,
Marmac. Okay,
I did.
yeah, man. Marmac 2018 to 2023, 5 years.
I
And then,
know.
then you about to transfer March 23 to 24. Really, you was almost on the tail end. I mean, you was, oh, after that tour, it was like, you'd be close to 20
Right.
at that
Uh,
time. Was you planning on, well, you was going to another ship. So were you going to extend on there, you know, like go to 24 or, 26 years trying to?
uh, no, I don't believe so. I think I was just trying to finish my time and be done with the military service, just because I think I reached that point. That's sometimes enough is enough. I mean, 20 years is a long time for anybody to do same job or same job with different aspects of your job. Um, so I did get orders to go to ship, I believe, but ended up going through transferring from Marmac to NAFAC for medboard purposes,
Hmm.
which
So,
is purse initiated, obviously, at that time.
yeah. Did you get medically retired or did you just retire?
Um, I guess both. Well, I went through the medboard, so the process completed. So I guess I was medically retired, but it might as well be just a regular retirement.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, man. Wow. I mean, did you have like a ceremony or you just like
No,
such and such is my last day and I'm heading on out?
no. I did came in for my last day because I think I was finishing up my terminal leave, but I did came back, but I didn't have no ceremony. I think it was just maybe planning on my part, but at the same time, I just right in the sunset, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did the same thing. I did the same thing. you know. So let me see. I got a few more for you. So how did you manage to avoid? You see, I know that. I was going to ask you, how did you manage to avoid going back to sea? and you told me you had to go for, you got
Yeah,
medical.
yeah. It wasn't intentional. I think after the older you get in the career, the older you get.
Your body start breaking down, going up and
Exactly.
down them ladders, and knees start buckling, back start hurting.
Exactly. I didn't go to medical very often during my early career,
Me
just
neither.
because I didn't have any problems. But eventually, time it catches up with you. You have
Yeah.
to start taking care of yourself. So stuff came up, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and one of the questions I had was two ships, HU4 for a career. Some people would do anything for a rotation like yours, especially a GS. Did you plan this?
There's no planning of this whatsoever. It's just everything just lined up the right way, I guess, for me. Higher power, I guess, looked out after me, and just things and the people that made it um, line up the way it was, and that's that's just, I guess, pure luck.
Mhm. Yeah, pure luck. Like one of my HMC buddies, HMC, never been on the ship before. 20 some 22 years, never been on the ship. I'm like,
No,
man, you should be ashamed. No, but
I,
he
I,
doing pretty well though. It just choose your rate, choose your fate. Then that's for real.
you're right. It lined up, and just like we were talking about earlier, Elga community. Some of these junior kids get sent directly to LK communities, and then they learn the ropes of the game, and they stay there, going back and forth.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, which is takes away opportunity from others, like I said. So,
Who want to go and enjoy ACU 4 or
exactly,
5?
exactly.
Now, I had a question. When did you decide it was time to retire? And you already told us that. So after the Navy, you know, what was your next plan after the Navy? What was your plan? Going to the workforce? Hey, I'm retired. I don't work enough. I just want to sit back and watch TV and drink coffee.
So I didn't really have a plan, and that's something that I guess my fault. So I have to take responsibility for that. But realizing that after doing so many years, you need to take a break for yourself, whether it's for the
Mhm.
mental needs, physical needs, just general transition out. So grief, as my therapist says, which is understandable because I mean you just spent 20 plus years with a lot of different people. There's a lot of connections. Now you on your own. Um, so I really took decided to take some time to kind of to process everything out first before
Mhm.
jumping into the corporate world or work, employment, or schooling. Uh, because in the end of the day, I still have time.
Yeah,
So
it's
why
almost
not
like
enjoy it?
yeah, it's almost like I remember when we was in school and we was wondering why this guy was in civilian clothes, and because he was a SEAL and just came back from the field. So to get back into civilization, that he had to be in civilian clothes because he's like he's so focused
Yeah,
on his mission. So they put him in civilian clothes so he can like almost like digress from where he was at. And I guess when you retire, you just need before you jump into something else, you should take time, let your mind, you know, come down from off that high of being stressed out 24/7.
right, right,
About what's going to happen, what your people doing. If you go get, if one of your guys go get a DUI and you walk in
exactly,
the morning or what, take
exactly,
time to digress, get your mind straight, get your mental health right,
right,
and then proceed with the next step for real.
exactly. I think the that step of decompression and the transitioning out from the service is definitely is something that everybody should do at some. You know, I'm not saying necessarily right after. Maybe some people it's not an option,
Mhm.
but if option is there, just go ahead and do that. You need that time to process uh, mental, physical, emotional state before jumping into something else. Because also, if your mind is not clear, then you could possibly make another mistake or make a mistake that might lead you down towards a path that you might not like.
Yeah. Most definitely. Most definitely. Well said. And we was actually touching on this, and I had the question right here. Thinking back to the day you joined until now, what are some of the things about the Navy that have changed for the good and the bad, you think?
I think the food got worse.
I don't think
I,
I was like, damn, it get worse.
I mean, it
They
has
went to that.
definitely.
They went to that new meal where basically pretty much the whole waterfront is eating the same thing on a given day or something.
I yeah, I think it's just something that we should probably look into. Um, I have to say that we need to get back to the whole structure, more restriction on standards. I think we got too laid back on certain things that should never really change. And I understand that we have to adapt and be flexible and go with how the world is changing. But at the same time, we are still a military force. The standards needs to be enforced on all levels. And I'm not just saying that the chiefs need to enforce all the standards all the time, but it also applies to the officers as well, and also the junior sailors. They lay down the foundation that should be protected based on our traditions and everything else. So, but on the other end, I think there's a lot of more opportunities there now than it used to be, especially with the education and stuff like that. That's given for people who are transitioning out or getting ready to take a new path in life. So that's definitely something that Navy has improved on. But yeah, that's pretty much some of the things.
You know that was well said right there. And my thing is about what you said. It's the same thing. It's like the Navy, the military is its own society with its own sets of rules and values.
Right.
And you know, why should we bring the craziness that's outside the gate into our gate?
Exactly.
I understand, you know, we may have to bend a little bit, but not a lot. I
Exactly.
mean, we are our own society. And if you want to come into our society, then you have to follow our rules. You have to follow our rules.
Right.
And that's the one thing as that seemed like they're trying to cater to the outside, and the outside is like a freaking burning a burning drum out there, when
Right.
and I'm not saying the military or the Navy is perfect or whatnot, but what we got been going great, and they're trying to, bend to, oh, let's do what society doing, and I don't think that's, not in the Navy's best interest or the military's best interest. They should stick to what they know, to what they've been doing. And yeah, hey, if you want to do this, then come on, you can, this is our set of rules and values and our
Right.
standards. But it's getting, they making all kinds of different, one of the there was a naval message that came out. Naval message that came out. So a sailor came to work, guy came to work with fingernail polish on and makeup. Fingernail polish and makeup, right? So, you know, hats off to that chief, because he would have probably gotten some kind of semio craziness case,
Right.
if he went off the deep end and start saying, he's like, nah, I'm going to refer this up the chain. He referred up the chain. Um, and they sent back a naval message basically saying, hey, these are the rules. This is the military standards in in the the recruit man, not the recruit man, but the military standards, where you
Yeah.
got to wear your uniform or whatnot, everything, and that's not in there about men wearing makeup. So it's like, He went back to the guy. They briefed the guy. They brought him in for a counseling session. They said, "Hey, this is the instruction. This is what you got to follow. That is not authorized." But hey, they trying to bend. They bending the
Yeah,
rules a little bit now, and that's just one example. That I see.
right. And that's something that you know well, everybody thinks that the chiefs need to be enforcing it. No, it doesn't have to be a chief that's enforcing it. It has to be from everybody. Everybody is obligated or needs to be enforcing the standards. And yeah, we can make fun of all that stuff, but reality is we're still military.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. And like I said on the show all the time, on the podcast, I said, oh, he dropped out. He coming back on. What I used to say all the time is like my two of my greatest first classes, Nickerson and Miller. They like set a standard that we, once they transferred, it was like a freaking house of cards fell. But they set a standard, and everybody was involved with maintaining the standard that we had on that ship and throughout the Navy. And that's what made that crew so great. First classes, second classes, even my third classes, who I always shout out: the McSwains, the Colemans, um, the Agars, the Laras, the Ducci's. If I'm missing your name, I'm sorry, but my that people on the Fort Sherman and on the Cape St. When I was on the Cape St. George, the Ancra, Arvello, Burdeynyy, all of them. I mean, they were outstanding because they've kept the standards up, and hopefully he come back online. But while he out there, I would like to again tell everybody out there to grab your copy of Anchored in Resilience by our shipmate, Amari Pontiano, Master Chief Amari Pontiano. And I've been reading it. Like I told you, I'm a snail at reading, but I'm on chapter 5 now, and he's at the airport. Everyone looked at me and thanked me for my service. I'm out chapter 5, so if you want to know the rest, you're gonna have to go out there and get it. Okay. But it's a good book so far. I won't get to the part when he's on the coal, of course, but it's a great book. Tells about his story, and we'll dedicate a whole podcast to us reviewing Anchored in Resilience by Mari Pontiano, Master Chief. All right, ITCM. All right. Well, I was hoping he'd be back quicker, but it doesn't look like he's going to be back. But I got something. I got next week. I got a person, a GSM, that's in my top 5 GSM, greatest GSMs ever. I mean, a little over 24 years in the Navy, and I put this guy in my top 5 GSMs. We have Bob Luganbill on here next week. GSCS retired. All right. Came to the USS Kidd, my first ship, as a second class from Sima, Norfolk, when Marmac was known as Sima, Shore Intermediate Maintenance Facility. All right. Attachment facility, whatever. And came back as a second, made first class, then made chief on there as well. So he's my chief for a little while as well, too. you know, and we'll get into that situation. He didn't immediately transfer off, so we all knew him as Bob Luganbill, but now he was our chief. And a good chief he was as well, great chief. So he'll be here, and I got to schedule our Lieutenant Feeney. All right, he was our nav officer on board Forrest Sherman. He'll be back on board talking with us about what he's been up to. He was always a respected officer on board USS Forrest Sherman. And we got probably one of the greatest GSEs that ever walked this planet. Most of the greatest people that ever walked this planet off my first ship. They set the standard for me and a lot of us throughout our careers. We'll have on here GSCM, John Langjames. And I probably said his name wrong. I got to go out there and look at his translation on his Facebook website, because I told him, we're gonna have like a kid reunion on here. We're gonna have people on here, hopefully about 10 people come on, and we talk about the first ship experience on the kid, the engineering department. And I was in this duty section for forever. We was in the same duty section, and I always looked up to him. Awesome GSC. I mean, he worked. I mean, he. This is you saw me. My people like, man, you be working hard. He's one of the chiefs, Chief Lang James, and Bob Luganbill, and Richard Andrews. Those are guys, man. Them guys used to hump. Them chiefs right there. Oh my God, they moved around the ship. They fixed stuff. I mean, and we was right there with them, but I mean, they were the experts. They were some of the greatest engineers, Navy engineers I knew. All right, so we go have them on and talk with them, and especially you get to get a little glimpse, like when we talk with Senior Chief retired Richard Andrews, a little glimpse into the '80s chiefs. I mean, here's a man that was facing some serious prison time. And, you don't hear about it anymore, but the judge gave you a choice. Hey, you can either go to prison or go into the military. He went to the military and he became a leader of men. So you can see how the U.S. Navy or the military changes the lives of people, makes them better, makes them upstanding citizens, the people that go out there and protect this nation every single day, whether they import out to sea, it doesn't matter. They are wearing a uniform, they wearing the cloak of the nation on their back, and they doing a service to this country. All right. And whether they do 4 years or they do a whole career, they made that decision to defend their country and wear the uniform with honor. So they should be highly respected. All right. Looks like Burdeynyy is not coming back or having some kind of technical issues. All right. We want to thank everybody for coming out. All right. For a shipmate shout out. Who I'm going to give a shipmate shout out to? Of course, all my USS Kid, Halliburton, Peterson, Cape St. George, Fort Sherman, all my shipmates out there. Hey, appreciate you watching. I really do appreciate you. But we're going to possibly head on out because Burdeynyy doesn't seem to be able to get his connection back. So thank you for watching. Again, next week, we got Bob Luganbill coming. We got GSCM Lang Johns coming. He's going to be coming. Another 80s sailor. You got some good stuff coming for you. Of course, I got another spot I'm going to be doing called Senior Chief's True Navy Sea Stories. Get on here for a little while. I'm going to tell you the many sea stories I have in my head. Lots of sea stories I got to divulge to you. Some craziness. The first one will be the tragedy of Petty Officer Dante Meeks. All right. That's off the Forrest Sherman. Some of y'all remember Dante Meeks. All right. Which is crazy what happened to him. And it's just one of those things that happens. Again, thank y'all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to Snipes Castle. Share it with your friends. Take a look at the videos. See what Navy life is actually like, because we give it we get the real right here on Snipes Castle. And remember my motto always. All right, if you've never been in the military, don't just support us. You're always out there. We support the troops. We love you, troops. And I love it when y'all pay. I go to the bill and somebody's unpaid my bill, and I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you for supporting the troops. But don't just support the troops. I want you to be like the troops. If you be like the troops, the world will be a better place. I guarantee you. Hey, we appreciate you for supporting us. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your week. Again, I'll be back with Senior Chief's True Navy Sea Stories. I got to figure out a day we're going to do it. So thank you again, and have a good rest of your week. All right. Bye-bye.
Hard work, work, hard work, work, hard work, work, hard work, work, hard work. That's what they say. Hard work, hard work.